Hey guys, it's Jesse from Central Athlete. I want to talk to you guys about how fitness is a 401k for your body. One of the interesting things that I've learned in my experience is that a lot of very high net worth individuals have hired me over the years because they have chased this career path and have accumulated wealth only to disintegrate their health. So it's a really interesting thing where they're multi-millionaires at 50, 60 years old, but they have the health of an 80-year-old where they're having trouble standing up out of a seated position. They breathe heavy when walking upstairs. So it's this really interesting, psychological conundrum that I keep coming back to of what makes people expend their health to chase wealth, and it makes sense. But what I advocate is better balance. Is that while your career path should be moving forward, so should your health. And at the very least, one thing we talk about is resisting entropy. So it's not a popular subject, but at one day and one point in time is we are going to die. We're going to leave this earth. But what happens before this is a slow, gradual decline. And namely, one of the biggest things that we see is sarcopenia, or loss of muscle mass. And that is one of the biggest things that is within my scope of practice as a strength and conditioning professional, is to help resist entropy, is to help maintain and even improve muscle mass in older individuals. It's estimated that 53% of men and 42% of females are sarcopenic over the age of 80 years old. It's also really interesting to note that a study confirms that despite your ages, you are able to increase muscle mass the same amount as younger counterparts. It's just the rate of recovery that is impaired for older individuals. So it really is never, ever too late. And so gaining muscle can happen at any age. And so, I encourage a lot of people to start on their resistance training journey as soon as possible. Another point with that is that last year, $18.5 billion were spent on sarcopenic related injuries, and maintaining competent stability, movement, and body weight patterns are going to be imperative for long-term health and success. We all hear about is, oh, my grandma at 75 years old, she slipped in the shower and she fell and she broke her hip. And then she has to go through a surgery that she didn't recover from as quickly. And then that was the slow, gradual decline that led to, eventually her not being able to live on her own and needing full-time support. And additionally, one of the biggest things too is building a lifetime of good habits and good patterns. And so it's estimated that 90% of adults are deficient in vitamin D. That's simply remedied by just going outside for a very reasonable amount of time consistently. But in today's day and age, we don't do that. Vitamin D has some of the most potent anti-cancer benefits, and it decreases all-cause mortality about 50% if you can raise your vitamin D levels to sufficient levels. Again, good habits around lifestyle will balance hormonal levels. That's another big one we see is just about 1 out of every 2 females over the age of 45 have experienced some sort of reproductive or thyroid issue. And good general lifestyle support can help with that. Daily movement is another great piece. Adequate protein to synthesize new muscle fibers. These are some of the big ones, and this isn't something that you get out of a 3-month plan. This is something that it takes years and years of messing up and failing and being successful and then failing again. But eventually you have to figure out what works for you and learn how to do this for long periods of time. But if you can turn this into a habit, this is your 401k for long-term success. Stay shredded, my friends.